Okay, let's move on to the second phase, which is isolation. This started when World War II started in 1939 and lasted for the first couple years of the war. Okay, victims were identified, and now the next stage was basically trying to isolate Hitler's victims with the creation of something called ghettos. And ghettos were basically one area of a city, and it was usually the most undesirable part of a city, that was cordoned off just to be for Hitler's victims in the Holocaust to live there. So if you were, say, not Jewish, and you lived in what was now designated a ghetto, you would be kicked out. And then everyone else who was Jewish would be rounded up and brought in and be forced to live there. They couldn't leave. There was, fences and guards, etc. It was basically a gathering place. They were overcrowded, there was lots of disease, they couldn't have things like schools, etc. So life was really tough in these ghettos. And the goal was basically to isolate and imprison Jewish people. There were some uprisings, some protest against what was happening, such as in Poland. One of the biggest ghettos was in the capital city of Warsaw, and in 1944 they had an uprising. And the Jews fought back. The outcome wasn't favorable. 7,000 Jews were killed in the fighting, 6,000 were burned in hideouts where they were hiding, and 56,000 were transported to gas chambers at the concentration camp Treblinka. So ultimately they lost, but they really did hurt Germans' prestige and showed that they could fight back, because the Germans actually had to bring in tanks and artillery and planes to put the rebellion down.